Gymnorhina tibicen, otherwise known as the Australian magpie, is a passerine bird native to both Australia and southern New Guinea. These striking birds are well known not only for their intelligence but also for their sophisticated social behaviour. Magpies possess a keen sense of sound and sight, which is beneficial for foraging and sensing alarm calls from others. As an insectivorous species, magpies forage using behaviours such as pecking and probing to disturb the top layer of substrate to find their prey. These behaviours rely on auditory and visual cues to determine the location of prey, with auditory being used more so for prey located underground. The magpie will tilt its head in the direction of insect movement and quickly pierce the earth with its beak to feed. Foraging behaviours may be costly though, as magpies increase their forage rate throughout the day, requiring a lot of energy to be put towards scanning and listening. This may leave the magpie vulnerable to predation from threats in their urban environments such as foxes, owls, and wild cats. This leaves us questioning if there is a trade-off between starvation and predation, and which behaviours magpies utilise to combat this. One way in which the magpie combats the threat of predators is by foraging in social groups, using alarm calls to warn conspecifics. Magpies are highly intelligent and are able to recognise varying levels of threat based off of the severity of a call. This calling behaviour likely evolved as it is beneficial in allowing magpies and family groups to communicate information effectively and distinguish when to forage and when to avoid a predator. Interestingly, magpies have been found to adjust their calls based on the distance of a predator. As a threat approaches, the call becomes acoustically different compared to if the same threat was further away. These behaviours are helpful when thinking about the trade-off magpies face. Do they invest their energy into scanning for predators or for food? Visual and auditory cues certainly play a role in this decision, and as a consequence, the magpie has adapted excellent eyesight and hearing for both tasks. One study found that temperature was the deciding factor in this trade-off. In winter, these birds are more likely to prioritise foraging over predator avoidance behaviours in order to survive the increased metabolic demands of a colder climate. Interestingly enough, temperature also affects group size, with magpies preferring to forage in larger groups during the cooler months. This demonstrates the sophistication of magpie social behaviour. To survive winter, they are able to adapt by increasing group numbers to compensate for the extra time spent foraging, leaving them more protected from predation. Ultimately, this clever species has developed the extremely effective social behaviours of living in groups and intricate calling to combat the challenges that they face throughout varying climatic conditions.